So I got an inbox today from my homie Junior. That's what I know you by. Up in New York, they might know you by Treasy from the Treasy Radio Show. So I don't know where the name Treasy came from, and I might not want to know. But anyway, shout out to everybody from New York. Shout out to O. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to the kids, and appreciate the views. So anyway, so Junior asked me what I thought about intermittent fasting, and I was like, well, I've recorded a video that deals with that a little bit, and I just haven't gotten it up due to my OCD tendencies. So thanks for the swift kick in the pants, so to speak, in helping me realize, I need to stick to my guns, just get the videos out. But I knew I would cover it in talking about what I'll be doing to lose weight, and that's what I'll be doing in this video, talking about my weight loss protocol, program, etc., that I'll be doing. And my day is pretty much intermittent fasting, and it's been that way for a long time. Kind of been that way before most people started calling it intermittent fasting, etc., So for those who don't know what intermittent fasting is, intermittent is just you fast through most of your day. You don't eat, or you try to have very small amount of caloric input until you have a 4, 5, 6 hour, maybe 8 feeding window where you get in all of your nutritional needs. Protein, fats, and carbs in the appropriate amount. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. And there are very smart people who will argue about there really being a lot of benefits as far as burning fat goes versus conventional eating methods. I'll let y'all argue about that. I pretty much stand on the side that it's not worth arguing about, and if there is a benefit as far as burning fat, it's marginal, and I just take that from the data and the stuff that I read. And for most people, it's not really worth worrying about. And what it is about is what's comfortable for you to get in the intake that you need. Some people don't like or have time to make breakfast, and instead of worrying about whether or not you're going to pass out or whether you're going to lose all your gains, lose all my gains, man, lose all my muscle or all that nonsense. We know now, that you're not, well, we knew a long time ago, but we're stressing now that it doesn't really matter when you eat, whether you eat breakfast or not. For some people, obviously, if you're not well trained and adapted to not eating breakfast, you might have problems later on in the day. You might want to overeat. But the appetite is trainable for most people. Another video on that, right? I won't go off on the tangents. It doesn't matter what time of day you eat. What matters is consistently feeding your body the required amount of nutrients and the required amount of calories. So you could turn this video off, and that'd be the only thing you need to take away from this video. But these things have names. It allows us to put them into neat little boxes so that we can better lose our ever-loving minds and argue about and pit against each other and make products about and make YouTube channels and etc. For most people, it doesn't matter. And unless you plan on getting on stage and competing or performing to an extreme, it's not worth talking about. Just try different things, and if it's comfortable for you, then it makes it easier for you to do it. And then you have the causation versus correlation. It's like, it's not that you did a special approach, it's that you found something that was comfortable for you to run protein, fats, and carbs at the appropriate caloric level. And that's it. So I usually eat after my workout, which is usually in the late evening. I like working out fasted. I feel better when I do. I don't have gas when I'm squatting or deadlifting. Sounds funny, but for me, that's a distraction. So for some people it's not. For me, it's a distraction. And I just feel better. I like working out fast. I like working out without having food around, even within 2-3 hours before. And no, you're not going to run out of energy if you don't have carbs before you work out. You might feel that way because you've gotten yourself accustomed to feeling that way, and half the time it's placebo anyway. When you take carbs out of somebody, or you work out when you didn't have the carbs you used to, you've already convinced yourself that you're not going to have a good workout. Anyway, that's that. And I'll be doing low carb through the week, hopefully. Yesterday was about a 300 carb day. I'm going to be trying to hit 100 or less, and then having a high carb weekend. So anyway, that's carb cycling. I'll be doing a little bit of carb cycling to an extent. So that's that. And obviously, since I get my carbs after I work out, that's carb backloading. Same thing. Benefits, maybe, maybe not. I think Kiefer is one of the folks who did a lot of research, wrote a good bit about that. Don't remember his first name. K-I-E-F-E-R, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, I do kind of a hodgepodge, and I don't really stay strict to any one thing, because being a real estate agent primarily, at any given moment, somebody's trying to feed you. So depending on how I feel or what's going on, sometimes I say no, sometimes I say yes. So it's not really something that I have to worry about, and that's the whole point. You don't have to drive yourself crazy worrying about sticking to whatever type of name, workout, or diet that you're doing, and you have the freedom to be flexible to some extent, as long as you concentrate on getting in the appropriate amounts of food that you need to get in. And that's just what it boils down to. That's the main takeaway from this video. But I will be doing cardio, and most of that will be low intensity, just typical elliptical. I take walks sometimes during midday if I can squeeze it in, get the vitamin D in there. Plus, my days tend to be relatively sedentary. So I'm on the couch in front of the computer watching Dr. Oz, because I love that show. Or in the car driving. You know, if you show a few houses, it's still relatively sedentary as far as I'm concerned. So just trying to get in a little bit more of movement into my day. But that's it. And most of my workout will be typical bodybuilder, typical basic. I am more of a minimalist. Your typical lift: squat, deadlift, pressing, bench press, rows, pull-ups, large compound movements. Typical, nothing special. But like I said, what it boils down to is protein, fats, and carbs. Doesn't matter what you call it. Doesn't matter how many times a day you get it. Doesn't matter if you get it 3 times a day or 20 meals or whatever thing else. Floats your boat, makes you feel better, and makes you consistent. That's what it boils down to. Everything else is causation versus correlation. Everything else is uncivilized. Love, peace, bacon grease, and donut yeast. Stop the madness, please, and I'm out.